what can we do what best practices are available to overcome these issues. Let's take, we won't have, it's not our intention in this session to run through all the 30 odd ills and then try to figure out how they all can be managed, because many of them are also related to each other. We'll just take a few and see what choices are available for us from a best practices perspective. How do you avoid poor estimating or poor scheduling? The estimation and scheduling process consists of sizing or scoping of the project, estimating the effort and time required, and then developing a calendar schedule, taking into account all other factors like resource availability, the time required for technology acquisition, the business cycles, and so on. What are the benefits of accurate estimate? These include fewer mistakes, lesser overtime, smaller or lesser amount of schedule pressure, and perhaps lesser staff turnover. And of course, the credibility of the project team also goes up with a good estimate. So what is, in our previous session when we talked about the work breakdown structures, we emphasized why work breakdown structure, creation of a good work breakdown structure is important, and how it adds to, how it serves the purposes of good planning. One of the things that one of the best practices that we can try and adopt in our e-governance initiative is to go for a series of iterative refinements with estimates presented in ranges that continually narrow as project progresses over time. So we come out with an estimate which is based on our very clearly drawn up work breakdown structure with all the resource constraints, and then as part of our project management plan we come out with this iterative plan. So 4 valuable approaches to improving project estimation. They include time box development, because a shorter and smaller work content is easier to estimate. Creating a work breakdown structure to scope the project. Capturing the actual effort, time and data for all our projects so that we can reuse them with modification, with refinement for our future effort. And a project management unit, a formal project management unit to control the project. One of the things that we find as part of our involvement in the e-governance domain is that many projects, especially the smaller ones which are perhaps more prone to failure, don't really have a formal structure. So there is this, this leader who might be a collector or a department head who conceives, who conceptualizes a project, quickly implements it. There is no institutional buy-in, there is no permanent structure. This person leaves, this leader leaves, the project also collapses. So one of the things that, one of the best practices certainly is to have a formal project management unit which will document and monitor the progress of the project and then take it forward. Agile development methodologies also are suggested in this context. How do you avoid ineffective stakeholder management? If you remember, that's number 2 in our list of issues. This is perhaps a little bit more difficult area to manage than the previous one, because when we talk about stakeholders, we are talking about different sets of motivation, different skill sets, different levels of friction and so on. Do watch our session on change management to understand this a little bit more. But one of the things that we might want to do is to come out with a stakeholder worksheet and assessment graph. What we do is to list all our stakeholders, what their powers are, what influence they have over others, how much resources do they directly control, what is their degree of support or resistance, and then based on this use change management models such as the ADKAR model, the awareness, the desire, knowledge, and the other components of the ADKAR model to come out with a communication plan and engage actively with the stakeholders.